Hello, Danielle MacKinnon. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Lilu. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being with us today. This is actually the first time that we're talking about this topic here on your pet communicator, you're an animal communicator, and also an intuitive coach. So this is quite exciting to speak about our little animals around us and how they also have a soul. Is that right?
They do. They do have a soul. A lot of people don't talk about the soul of the animal. They kind of want to rescue animals. They want to help animals, but they don't realize that animals have this soul that came in to help them and to help better the human race. But animals absolutely have a soul. And I find when you connect with your pet at the soul level, that you have a better relationship with that animal. So those people that you see where you can tell they're not really so into their pet, they're not really so into the animals in their life, it's because they're connecting more at that physical level. I must feed you, I must put you out, I must pet you. But when we go to the soul level, we start bringing in like an energetic connection that really allows the human and the pet to work together to better each other.
There's even some human that feel that their pet is even their master, like their spiritual master. So there's a big gap, it seems.
There can be. I think the word that we would use might be teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Me not speaking French. I think that I would say teacher. When I'm teaching people to communicate with pets psychically, one of the main pieces that a lot of people struggle to get is that that animal is not below them. It's not something to be rescued. It's not something that always needs help. That animal is actually their teacher, and just like you're saying, their master. They bring lessons and information to that human, that if that human's open to it, that human can actually end up healing themselves through what that animal is teaching them.
So how can we decrypt that? How can we understand how what they're trying to tell us? Are there signs, or do we really need to go via a person like you to help us decrypt that?
Well, it wouldn't be very helpful if, in order to have a good relationship with your animal, you always had to go to a pet psychic. So it's actually, that can be a good boost and that can really help. But what I found is teaching people to really look for the messages that their animals are sending them. And those messages aren't usually, your pet's not going to write you a letter.
No.
You know, your pet, that's not, the pet's going to poop in the middle of the living room. The pet's going to run away, keep running away and coming back, or get sick in a certain way, or bite at your ankles when you're walking through the room. These are the ways that pets get messages through to the everyday average human.
So what about a pet that really hangs around all the time, all around you?
Oh, there's so many different reasons that that could
Yeah.
be. A pet that's always around, that pet may be helping you feel supported. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't feel supported in your life. This pet wants to show you, hey, you are supported. So animals will work either by doing something like that, literally giving you the thing that you need in your life, but they can also work by mirroring your own behavior. So let's say you're somebody who has a temper. You're always in a bad mood, and your dog's always in a bad mood. This dog is actually mirroring to, hey, this is what you look like. This is how it is. I'll get in a better mood when you get in a better mood. Make sense?
So do they absorb actually a lot of our own energy and a lot of our feelings and
They feel it. I don't know if absorb is really the right word, because they work with it. So it's kind of like the same thing as coming together, a psychic and a person coming together, and the psychic needs to be in that energy to give the best information. That's what the animal does. That animal feels it out. That animal feels out the emotions, it feels out the intensity, it feels out the sadness or the happiness or the all of it, so that animal can figure out what it needs to do to help the person. So you do end up, though, in situations where, let's say, a husband and wife just had a fight. that an animal can come in and feel that fight having gone on. So even taking it further than at the soul level, working on to help the humans, that animal's not going to feel comfortable being in a room where there's just been a fight. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do they reincarnate in different type of animals afterwards? Like a cat could become a dog, like we can become another, that we can reincarnate ourselves? How does this work?
It's interesting. Up until a week ago, my belief has been that animals reincarnate. That's not the part that was kind of funky for me, but I had never met an animal who had who told me, because I'm an animal communicator, I go by what the animals tell me, not by what the people are telling me, because people always want their animals to reincarnate back in their life. So going by what the animals have told me, until like a week, 10 days ago, I had never met an animal who had reincarnated into their human's current life. I've met them where the human and the animal have been together in other lifetimes, but not in this lifetime. So, yeah, so last week I met one who said, no, I was with her 20 years ago and I'm back. I was like, that's really cool. And I knew it was possible, but it just doesn't happen as often as we humans would like to have it happen.
And so there's this animal kingdom. There's this kingdom of animals, and then they only reincarnate as animals.
Now again, this is what the animals have told me. That's where my knowledge comes from. I haven't met an animal who reincarnated as a human or vice versa. They seem to stick to animals. And one of the reasons for that is because one of the purposes that animals have told me that they have is to help humans evolve. So why would a human come in? I mean, why would an animal come in as a human when it's supposed to be helping from the animal perspective? But I do meet animals who have been different animals in other lifetimes. But in my experience, the animals stick to animals and humans stick to humans. I understand that goes against what a lot of people say, but that's what the animals have told me.
So how do you communicate with them? How do you speak to them?
In my head. So I do it psychically. I connect with an animal, and the animal will give me images. It's pretty much just like being psychic, regular psychic. So I will get images, I will get feelings, I will get smells. That's been a really big one lately. I've gone vegan lately, and being vegan has opened up my psychic sense of smell, which you'd think would be really cool, but when you're working with a lot of animals, it's not that cool because I'm smelling the animals. So they give me smells, I hear them, and I feel them. And then I translate that the best I can for the human that is wondering what's going on.
So what's their main challenge that you find?
What's an animal's main challenge?
Yeah.
Getting their human to listen to them.
So what's the advice here? How should we do that in our life?
It's actually, all you have to do is look for the places in your relationship with your animal where you feel frustrated or excited, where you feel emotionally stimulated. Meaning, I'm going to use my dog as an example. I have a dog named Bella, and her sole contract with me is to help me be calm, clear, and grounded. When I am not, she's a chocolate lab, and she is very lovable, but way over lovable. Like, oh my God, you're here, I love you, with everybody and everything. If I'm calm and clear, if I feel good in my body, she's great. So all I have to do to figure out, if let's say I wasn't psychic and she didn't tell me what this was, I would go, oh, Bella is acting crazy again. She's jumping all over people. How did I feel before that was going on? Because her jumping on people is the thing that bothers me. So it's when you're emotionally activated that soul contract that you have with the person is in action. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And so when an animal puts on weight, Because they have this change of behavior too. I mean, what about that one?
An animal putting on weight could be a message to the human to get outside and get some exercise. It could be most of the time that's what it would be, but it would be very individual. Like if your animal's putting on weight, you could have a different reason. That animal could be doing it for a different reason than John Smith's animal who's putting on weight. But that would be a common translation. Time to get outside and get some exercise.
Do you have a last little message for pet owners or that you would like to communicate just towards that before we speak about on an intuitive level with human beings?
Yeah, the message would be to look at your animal as a teacher. And if you look at everything that your pet does as a message, there's a reason for this going on, rather than it's just coincidence, you'll be able to learn and actually work with the soul contract and get a whole lot out of the relationship with your pet.
Thank you.
Them and to help better the human race, but animals absolutely have a soul, and I find when you connect with your pet at the soul level that you have a better relationship with that animal. So those people that you see where you can tell they're not really so into their pet, they're not really so in.
Hello, Danielle MacKinnon, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Lilu. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being with us today. This is actually the first time that we're talking about this topic here on your pet communicator, your animal communicator, and also an intuitive coach. So this is quite exciting. There's even some humans that feel that their pet is even their master, like their spiritual master. So there's a big gap, it seems.
There can be. I think the word that we would use might be teacher. Me not speaking French. The animals in their life, it's because they're connecting more at that physical level. I must feed you, I must put you out, I must pet you. But when we go to the soul level, we start bringing in like an energetic connection that really allows the human and the pet to work together to better each other.
To speak about our little animals around us and how they also have a soul, is that right?
They do have a soul. A lot of people don't talk about the soul of the animal. They kind of want to rescue animals, they want to help animals, but they don't realize that animals have this soul that came in to help